Your time.
Okay, KRESNA.
Yes,
First
sir.
of all, why you choose this topic?
Yes. I choose this topic actually have many consideration. The first is I was sorry. My ancestor when yes when PARMALIM 6 generations of this yes this community. But even my ancestor were the PARMALIM. We are used to going to the ritual every year, it is the PARMALIM body to just to document the event, especially to the second day. My perspective why I have to do this research is I would like to introduce PARMALIM to the world. So not only which dessert we know by Indonesia or even North Sumatra regions, but also the world have to know. So how I can achieve this setting, or how I can achieve this this level is through linguistic perspective or through linguistic lens. So if I'm not doing this research, so who will be interested to do this research? Besides that, I also try to implement the ecological discourse analysis by Stiebe, right? To examine even the discourse or ecological discourse within the discourse, within the ritual, will be containing the ecological values that can be giving many outputs to find out if there are some perspective or points of view say that PARMALIM has a high life principle and also mutual cooperations. But in my perspective, PARMALIM is not only contains the 2 points, but also many aspects of linguistic. Like Steve said, there are 8 of ecolinguistic discourse analysis can be studied or can be seen, can be achieved from ecolinguistic perspective, like ecological identity, ecological ideology, ecological frame, ecological eraser, ecological convection, ecological metaphor, ecological evaluations, and ecological silence. That's my perspective, sir.
Okay, so it's already done. So many words, right, to answer that. But the problem is on your introduction, I did not see any of urgency of your research. What is your urgency of your research? Why now? Why you have to do this? And then why now? So on your introduction, I didn't see any gap you wrote among the previous research about this, about ecology, or about this oral tradition. I call this oral tradition, right?
Yes, sir.
Because on your introduction, you just mention only Stiebe, and so many Stiebe. You did not put any, what is that? Any previous study to show the difference, the gap between your research and their research. So that's why your research urgently need to be done by you. So I just couldn't find it. Even the quotation is not so many, just a few of quotation in your, you just put what's that, the Stiebe in here, and one is Harshawadana on page 2 and page 3, sorry, on the 3rd paragraph. So the comparison, I mean the gap between the previous studies, so you need urgently to do this research, is not showing on your paper. on your introduction.
Okay. May I give my perspective, sir?
Yes.
Actually, relevant studies or previous relevant studies written in page 60, sir, because that's the guideline for, what is it, dissertations templates put in the, put in the chapter 2, previous relevant studies. I have written in page 60, sir.
I know, but at least at the first place on the introduction, to show the important, the urgent of your research, you have to show us as a reader, as a researcher, you have to find out what the previous research has done and what is the difference between at least two to show that. Now, you did not put any quotation in here. Even Harswadana on page 3, I couldn't find it. You didn't write it on your reference. You may check it.
Okay, sir.
So you just quote and then you did not put it. Even in your reference, all of your quotation seems not in your paper. Almost all of them. You just quote it and nothing in your paper. Should be what are you quote should be in your paper. That's the problem for me.
Okay, sir. For what is it? For gaps, actually I put on page 7. From it was my fault. I didn't put any just to represent the previous study or relevant previous study, even maybe 2 or 3 in introductions. Yes. Okay. Thank you for the suggestion, sir. But from aspect of gaps, actually I put on page 7, theoretical standpoint and also phenomenon gap, a research gap in paragraph 1 to 3, 3 and 4. Yes, 3 and 4.
Page 7.
Yes, sir. Page
Page
7.
7.
Yes, sir.
Research gap.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, research gaps among what?
Among from yes, theoretical standpoint or theoretical gap. Explain existing studies have mostly focused on modern written discourse such as media, policy, environmental text, while indigenous oral tradition remain understudied.
I'm not meaning like that. I mean research gap is what you done. It's different with previous done. That is research gap. Not from your theory. Someone has done a research before, and then so many people done about PARMALIM. They done about a ritual, about the thing is semiotic, and then that is the research gap. You did not research about the semiotic thing. You research about echo. That is research gap. That you didn't put it in here. That's why I said to you, research gap is not mentioned about your prime theory. You're talking research gap is in here is about Stieber. Stieber is your prime theory, right?
Yes,
It
sir.
doesn't matter. Research gap is the gap, the research about the previous study and your study now. That is research gap. What the difference between that?
Different. Something missing. I opine that research gap is something which is not observed or something or research, or I say that something missing, right? Something missing. If other previous study on, for example, anthropology, social of religions, tourism study, maybe history, but from ecolinguistic lens or ecolinguistic perspective, understudied. It was my perspective. That's my perspective.
Yes.
ecolinguistic lens or ecological discourse analysis that focus to oral expression understudied or underexplored in this research, because the previous relevant studies just focus to like a semiotic, anthropology, religion, tourism, history, and other.
That's it. Research gap.
Yes, sir.
But you did not put on your paper. That's the problem. Okay. If you put it, the research gap, and slowly you can move about your novelty later on. At least the shadow of your novelty will be after you find out the research gap among the previous study. That's why you did not make any, say that, preliminary how to analyze the data, at least the sample, to show us this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to find out. That's what we call your novelty, right?
Sure, sir.
You did not describe on your introduction. That's my problem. And also, oh, not my problem, sorry, your problem. And also, should be in introduction, at least you have 2 or 3, at least, quotation in here you write down, not your theory as a comparison theory,
Yes, sir.
not really a comparison. And then if we talked about a problem of the research, this is dissertation, right?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, dissertation, problem of your study, I know, 1, 2, and 3. It seems like so simple, even though I know this is like like, let's say this is a hole but a deep, right? You may say that. But sometimes we have a hole which is wide but not deep. You may say that. You may argue me if I said that this is so simple. This is like a thesis, only 3 research problem. This is dissertation. You can create so many questions in here. Why only 3? Even though I know on the page, sorry, just a second. On page, I see on your page. Oh, yes, on page 11. The element of your research is a lot. But this is only the element, not really a problem. Problem of the study. Say that if I give a sample about ritual, how the ritual, say that the umpasa or the doa or the prayer, how it's related to the human, to the nature, to the animal or something. It will create, it's still including the ecology, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Because this is dissertation, your research problem is only 3. This is wondering me, is it enough?
May I give my
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, from initial consulting or consultations to my promoter, actually, at the time, I have 10 problem of the research. Number 1 is, what is ecolexicon? Yeah, ecolexicon, find the ecolexicon image in the ritual. After that, what is the eco-grammar emerge. After that, ecological discourse. After that, what are the ecological narrative emerge in the discourse? It means that goes to beneficial stories, ambivalent stories, and destructive stories. But based on my promoter suggestions that 3 questions, but sustainable, go sustainability, berkesinambungan, it's enough. Because what? The plot is, after you find out the form of ecological discourse, so then what activity you will be conducted? You goes to what? Yeah, during the ritual should be identified whether the 8 subcategories of ecological discourse analysis emerge in the ritual. And after that, what factors or what causes carried out the particular ways? That's my promoter suggestion. So the 3 questions go sustainability. It means that berkesinambungan from the plot is from first question goes to the second question to find out the structure or maybe the organizations of ecological discourse. Next is goes to the find out the factors or causes that carrying out the particular ways. Actually, I can add. I can make 10 questions, but my promoter says that it's too over. You just decrease that. You just choose the sustainable question related to your research. That's my perspective, sir.
No, yes. That's according to your promoter, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go on. This is including in about ideology. What about ideology? Is it including in here? Problem of the research ideology will be answered also from 1, 2, 3 question in here.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. First question, the first research problem, we'll find out the discourse that can be classified into the 8 categories of discourse analysis. Ecological discourse. Ecological identity will be found by identifying if the discourse describe the identities of a human, identities of a nature, other living beings are constructed in the ritual utterances. So, for example, how the PARMALIM, how community position itself within ecological relations with the nature. That's identity. So, identities of human, nature, other living beings are constructed in the ritual. That from that's my indicator to classify that this discourse should be goes to identity identity category.
Do you believe this research will bring the impact to the society or social, and will bring the impact to academic?
Absolutely, yes, sir. The core or basic foundations of PARMALIM is high moral value, life principle, high integrity or tight integrity. Even if they are standing or they are maybe sitting in a crowded place, I can see that they are PARMALIM because what? They keep, they don't want to talk too much. If the communications, if the context is not so interesting or it's not so correlate to them, they just they just give their points of view. If we try to to persuade them or to try to connect our idea to them. One thing that can be implemented to curriculum from aspect of divinity and also moral value. PARMALIM teachings emphasize belief in Debata Mula Jadi Nabolon, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, right? Debata Mula Jadi Nabolon, the creator, the supreme creator, and living pure. You know, based on this principle, they will live in pure life, right? And I think this foundation can be relevant to education to build the students' religious and moral character. It can also support Pancasila and religious education through tolerance and local spirituality. And also it encourages integrating local wisdom into characters of education. Besides that, I try to study the principle of other principles life of PARMALIM. It is mutual cooperation and also solidarity, kerjasama, gotong royong, dan solidaritas. You know, these values such as this is the root life principles of Batak Toba or Batak mutual help. Then it can also be integrated to education setting because it strengthens the cooperation, empathy, teamwork, and also it fits to collaborative and also project-based learning approaches. Because project-based learning approaches, it needs what? Teamwork, cooperations, and also empathy, right? It supports social emotional learning. But besides that, the most important thing is ecological and also sustainability values. So how the harmony between humans, nature, and also ancestor, nenek moyang, right, can build together, supports one another. This relevance to implementations of educations because it can increase environmental awareness and also ecological sustainability. That's my perspective, sir.
Okay. Before we go on, may I ask you personal question? Are you PARMALIM also?
I'm a sixth generations of PARMALIM. My ancestor were PARMALIM, my great grandparents.
No, I mean you are now as a PARMALIM?
No, sir.
You are not
I'm not.
PARMALIM.
Yes, I'm non-PARMALIM.
Not PARMALIM.
Not.
Not following this religion PARMALIM. You're not following this.
Not following.
You are, I'm sorry, you're Christian.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, not PARMALIM. Exactly, you are not PARMALIM.
Not. I'm not PARMALIM.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we go on to so many pages on your paper, specifically on review of literature.
Yes.
I read all of this, but you did not wrote anything about how to analyze your data in here, a sample, at least on a literature review, at least you give a sample how you are going to do this, even though you give a sample in here about here, I don't know, keberadaan mula jadi Nabolon, the picture of the portrait of the paper, but this is only just a data. You're not trying to describe to the paper. At least give a sample how you are going to analyze that by using this Stieber theory. And also, after read your paper, your quotation is not too much, and also sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, your quotation is not related what you wrote on your reference. Most of them, after I check it. You may check it later. Should I describe it in here? It will take times. So you may read by yourself, okay?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, okay. Even though your paper is really interesting about PARMALIM. PARMALIM it's been what is that?
Belief system.
Not really rare, because a lot of people had done this research about PARMALIM, specifically about the ritual, about the semiotic, about the so many things. You wrote it in here. So meaning a lot of people had done a research about PARMALIM, but you're trying to find a gaps among of them, which is not done yet by them, is about ecolinguistic, right?
Linguistic perspective.
Ecolinguistic perspective. If we talk about ecolinguistic perspective, also we talk about human, we talk about nature,
Nature.
we talk about animal, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sustainability.
Yeah, sustainability, of course. But the problem is when you are trying later on to analyze the data, because the data itself seems not mention a lot about animal in here. The data after I wrote your not too much data in here, I think about the nature, about what is that? Chicken, and not so much. Are you going to describe it in a little bit? Because if you mention about eco-linguistic, do you believe that is how to say that? That is appropriate for dissertation, only the eco-linguistic?
Is it appropriate only?
Enough, appropriate enough, I mean.
Just as a fundamental, what is it, fundamental theory from ecolinguistic perspective, you mean that?
Yeah, I mean this, if later on after you do analysis, is that enough? Is that how to say that? Because the data is not too much, and also the what is it? The problem of the study is not too much. It's too what is that? Too small, I think. Like I said, this is a whole. You may say a hole, even though it's not a big hole or wide hole, but it's deep. Right. Now, how deep is it? That's the problem. Because this is dissertation, not
Thesis.
thesis. That's the problem.
In my opinion, ecolinguistic perspective is large. Yes, and also it's interdisciplinary. It's not only talking about reciprocal religions, what is it? Reciprocal interrelation, or maybe relationship between human, nature, or environment. But also it touch the elements that touch within the ecolinguistic perspective, like culture, religion, and also should I say that tourism, because actually this
Tourism.
Ecotourism.
Oh.
Yeah, ecotourism. By fundamental considerations based on the holistic interrelations views of ecological paradigm, the paradigms from other figures of ecolinguistic ecologists. If ecological discourse analysis by TINGGI 2015 talks about 8 ecological discourse analysis like identity, ideology, metaphor, framing, evaluations, convection, and salience, and also erasers. But they have correlations, or they attach the conceptual theory, conceptual perspective from other ecological paradigm by other ecologists. Like identity tries to touch the perspective from Haugen as a root of ecolinguistic, Haugen and Mulhorsler. So if I, for example, if I classify one data, then comes to identity, then is it the theory from Stiebe enough? Not. It must be strengthened by, strengthened by Haugen and Mulhorsler for only identity clarification or identity subcategories. Next, if I then have considerations that the data goes to ideology, if it is it enough if the Stiebe's theory to cover that indicator? Not. Must be supported by Bang and Door perspective. Metaphor also must be supported or must be encouraged by Halliday's and also Lakoff and Johnson. Conceptual metaphor. Framing also must be supported by Phil and Pence and also Erving Goffman. Evaluation, just the things happens to evaluations goes to the, Halliday's theory and also convictions aligns with Phil and Pence. Salience also, Fairclough. Salience should be supported by, I choose 3 other perspective about ecolinguistic to support salience category by Fairclough, Pendix, and also Bang and Door. And the last is the eraser. How about eraser? Must be aligned or must be encouraged by other theories such as Fairclough and Mulhorsler. That's my opinion, sir.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Stiebe is not enough only your theory, but on your paper, that's why I did not see how you are going to do the sample of the research. That's why I'm worried. Is that enough? Only Stiebe, but after you explain like this, I know that you not only use one theory, you use a lot of theory. That's why. But you did not mention on your paper in here. At least, no, I mean not the theory. I mean the way, the step. How do you go? You are going to analyze the data. So I know that you are not laying on only on Stiebe, right? So you can describe how big your problem to what? To analyze one data by using a lot of theory. In here, you did not give a sample on your paper. That's why we don't know. I don't know how hard will be the journey, your journey later on. That's why I'm saying only 3 problem of the study. Is that enough for dissertation? After you're answering me that you're not only laying only one theory, but because you did not describe it on your literature view, literature apa? View,
Review of
the
literature.
review of literature, at least the sample of how hard will be your work. So we don't know. I don't know how the step you are going to do the work. After you explain like this, maybe people will know that this is not easy job. But in your paper, you didn't put anything. How to your step to what? To analyze, to operate your data. It's not so simple. After you explain, that's meaning the whole thesis is only in your head, not on the paper. yet. That's the problem. That's why I'm asking you. Only 3 problem is enough to be dissertation. It's not picture on your paper in here. That's the problem. After your answer, it's clear. It's not easy job. The problem is you did not put it in your paper. That's the problem.
I put actually on the page. Wait, sir. The chapter 2. Chapter 2. Wait, before videos relevant study.
Page. Just mention the page.
Wait, sir. Page. Wait a moment. Linguistic ecological. Chapter 2. Okay. 34. 34. 35 and 36. 34, 35 and 36.
Yeah. I wrote. I read it, but the problem is the step to evaluate. I couldn't find it. That's the problem. Okay, I think that's enough because time is over. You can discuss with your promoter later on how you are going to develop your paper later on. And also be careful to quotation. The whole quotation you put on your reference is not related to your paper. Watch it. Your quotation on your reference
Okay.
is not related to your paper.
Uh,
It's not put on your paper. So many quotation in here. So many book you wrote on your reference, but not in your. Sometimes on your paper it's not fine in the reference. That's a problem. Okay.
Noted, sir.
Okay. See you.
See you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So we come to the end